Hello everyone, I'm Jasmine Sidhu and I welcome you all to my English channel. In my today's video, I'll be taking up the explanation of chapter 1 from English book of 10th class. The name of the book is First Flight and the name of the chapter is A Letter to God. Now before I should talk about the storyline, I should talk about the characters in the story. I would like to give you a brief introduction about the author. Now, author G.L. Fuentes, his full name is Gregorio Lopez Fuentes, and he was a Mexican novelist, poet, and journalist. He was born on 17 November 1897 at Veracruz, Mexico. During his youth, he used to spend most of the time in his father's journal store, where he came in contact with the Indians, the farmers, and the laborers of the region, whose lives he later described in his works. So, he has taken the inspiration from the life of these people and he has penned down in his novels. Now, his most celebrated work is El Indio, that is the Indian, and it was published in 1935. It is actually a fictional study of the life of Mexico's indigenous race. He was awarded the National Prize of Arts and Sciences in 1935 and eventually he passed away on 10th December 1966 at Mexico City. So let's start with the chapter in detail. Let me give you a brief, introduction to the chapter. I'll talk about two things which are being discussed through and through the chapter. Now, how the chapter starts, the story starts actually where the author is depicting unwavering faith of a farmer in God. Obviously, this farmer, he's the protagonist over here, and it's depicting actually two types of conflicts in this story. One between man and nature, and the other among men themselves. You'll be able to understand these points very nicely in detail as we'll be proceeding and discussing the story in detail, right? But just for a brief outline, I want you to understand that what is the conflict between nature and man and among men themselves. Nature and man over here we'll see when the protagonist is expecting something from the nature, right? But nature has destined something else for him. That's the conflict, that's the disagreement between man and nature. And the conflict between the people, or between two individuals or among people themselves, is when we don't trust each other. That's the irony, right? So how the story begins is, it is beginning with the idea about the conflict between man and nature. In the beginning of the story, the farmer hopes for a nice rain, right, for the benefit of his cornfield. And on actually receiving the rain, he was overwhelmed, he was happy, and he started counting the profit which he would be earning from his crop. But due to his expectations, he was actually too much happy that he will be playing in money this year, because everything was going as per his expectations. But the rainfall turned into hailstorm when the strong wind started blowing. This depicts the disagreement between man and nature, wherein humans want the nature to act according to their aspirations, which is just not possible. And the second divergence arises where Lencho starts doubting the honesty of the post office employees who actually helped him with the money anonymously. This is the conflict among men themselves, wherein we are ready to trust in the idea of God's existence, but we are not ready to trust each other. So this is the irony of our existence, and it's a fact. We won't trust each other, but yes, we are very happy with the idea that okay, I have faith in God, He will help me. But we as humans can be a messenger from God to help someone if we have the capacity to help somebody, right? So this idea is being talked over here in this story. Now the farmer, his name is Lencho, he's the protagonist, and he was a very hard-working farmer, and he earned his living by farming his fields, right? He was the sole bread earner in the house, and he lived in the solitary house on the crest. Crest means top of a hill, from where actually he could see the river and his field of ripe corn crop, which promised a good harvest, but it badly needed a shower. So he was expecting rainfall that could actually help his crop to grow, and if he is having a good crop, obviously he'll be yielding a good amount by selling it. So, in that expectation, in that hope, he spent an entire morning gazing at the sky in the northeast direction from where a drizzle was expected to shower on his field. It was night time now. You can see whole day he kept on waiting, and at the night time, Lancho's wife actually was preparing supper. His elder sons were working in the field, and the younger ones were playing outside the house until the lady calls everyone for the dinner. Until Lencho's wife calls, everyone for dinner. They all were busy in their own chores. It is during that time drops of rain begin to fall, hereby proving the farmer's predictions to be true. He refers to the coins, he refers to the drizzle as coins. Why? Because he was actually seeing the money that he'll be earning by harvesting his fields. So large droplets being equivalent to 10 cents and the smaller ones 5 cents. He says so because these raindrops would ensure a good crop which would eventually get them a lot of money, and they'll be at ease throughout the year, because with a good harvest obviously their pockets will be full with the credit. But unexpectedly, strong wind started blowing, leading that rainfall to a hailstorm. Now, within an hour, the hailstones it covered the entire valley, including the house, garden, hillside, and the cornfield. You could see in the picture the hailstones, right? So it was covered everywhere, and it made everything look so white that it seemed as if it was covered in salt, and the corn crop was totally destroyed. Not even a single flower or leaf was visible. Lencho, he became so stressed and disappointed because everything went against his plan. What he has planned, nature has destined something else for him. While standing in the withered fields, he conveyed his dismay and sorrow to his sons by commenting that the effect of the storm proved to be worse than that of crop destroying insects. That is, if you'll see your book, it's written over there, a plague of locusts, right? So he says that the insects which destroyed the crop, it is worse than that because nothing had remained over there in his field. All their hard work had gone in vain. He felt helpless as no corn had been left, and feared that that year they might have to starve. So now he was having single hope, and that hope was from God. So Lencho spent his entire night thinking of this, hope, that is, how he should communicate to God. So he thought of writing a letter to God conveying his grievances. So the following Sunday at daybreak, means in the morning, he began to write a letter and thought of mailing it himself only by going to the town. So you can see the first evidence of man's insecurity, that he didn't trust anybody because he felt that if he'll give into some other person's hand, maybe he or she might not post it. So he wanted himself to go and put the letter into the mailbox. So in his letter to God, he communicated his poverty stricken situation, and he mentioned that he required 10 he'll be requiring 100 pesos, right? Pesos over here is the basic monetary unit of Mexico, and even certain American countries they use this currency, right? And he's giving the reason that why he required 100 pesos, because he want to regenerate the crops along with surviving until they are ready to harvest. And on the envelope he wrote the address to God, and then he went to the post office, placed a stamp on the letter and dropped it in the mail. Now the postman actually, who used to take out the letters from the mailbox, when he took out the letters, right, he noticed that strange address, to God. In the beginning he was actually, laughing and making fun of it, and he took that letter to the postmaster over there, and both of them, they felt, amused that what sort of a person is he that he's writing a letter to God, right? But immediately, the postmaster, he became serious. He was astounded actually at the amount of faith Lencho has actually in God, and wished he also had the same sort of faith, in his heart for God. So he ordered that do not shake the writer's faith in God. The postmaster came up with an idea. He told, answer the letter. But when he opened it, it was evident that to answer it, he needed something more than goodwill, ink, and paper. It wasn't that the letter was expecting just a reply, but we knew that Lencho has demanded for 100 pesos. So, actually, if you have that much of money with you, then only you lend a helping hand. But he stuck to his resolution. He asked for money from his employees. He himself gave part of his salary, and several friends, they pooled in to give some money as an act of charity. But still, they were not able to collect 100 pesos. It was just 70 pesos for Lencho. And next Sunday, when Lencho came looking for the reply, at that time the postman, he handed over the letter to Lencho, and the postman and the postmaster both were waiting to see that joy and a quotient of surprise on Lencho's face when he'll be opening the letter and seeing the money. But on contrary, what did they observe? They observed that there was no sign of surprise on his face, because that was the faith of Lencho in God, that if he has written letter, money will come to him, right? So the reaction was opposite, because money was not 100 pesos, it was just 70. So the farmer, he was disheartened on seeing that the money was less, but still his faith was undeterred, right? And he believed that God cannot make such a mistake, right? It might be, he somewhere in his heart he was feeling that it might be the people, the employees, those who are working in the post office, they might have done the bad thing of stealing the money. So immediately he went up to the window, and he asked for paper and ink, and he again wrote a second letter to God, right? And again he took a stamp which he licked, and then he affixed to the envelope, and he pasted it hard with a blow of his fist. And the moment the letter fell into the mailbox, the postmaster went to open it. Now, what the letter stated that time, it said, God, of the money that I asked for, only 70 pesos reached me. Send me the rest, since I need it very much. But don't send it through the mail, because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks. Lencho. So see the irony of the existence of human beings. He doubted the integrity and honesty of the post office employees who actually helped him with money anonymously. Remember in the beginning I told you, right? They have actually arranged for the money and everything, and they, as a messenger of God, they have handed over it to Lencho. But see, we humans, we don't trust each other, right? That's the irony, that's the sad part. And rather he complained to God that don't send me the money through the post office people, send me directly. So that's all in this chapter, children. I hope you might have liked the content. If you have liked, please do not forget to leave a like, share my videos with your near and dear friends, and do subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.